Why do some people seem to attract wealth while others constantly struggle with money? Is it luck? Inheritance? Maybe, but often it comes down to mindset. Welcome to Kysersis, where today we're diving deep into the psychology of money and how the wealthy think differently. Let's start with a fundamental idea. Rich people don't just think about money as something to spend. They see it as a tool for freedom, security, and opportunity. The poor and middle class often think about money emotionally, through the lens of fear or guilt. The wealthy, strategically. Take risk, for example. For most people, risk is something to avoid. But to the wealthy, risk is necessary. Not careless risk, but calculated risk. Investing in a business, buying property, launching a product. These aren't gambles. They're informed decisions based on research, trends, and gut instinct honed by experience. Another key difference? Delayed gratification. Wealthy individuals are often masters at playing the long game. Instead of buying the newest phone or taking the most luxurious vacation, they reinvest in themselves or their business. They delay the pleasure today for a bigger reward tomorrow. In contrast, many people get stuck in a cycle of instant gratification. It feels good in the moment, but it often keeps them stuck, financially and mentally. Rich people understand that discipline today creates options later. Now let's talk about value. Wealthy people constantly think in terms of value creation, not hours worked. Think about that. If you're being paid hourly, your income is limited by time. But if you focus on creating value, a product, a service, a brand, your income potential is unlimited. That's why so many wealthy individuals are entrepreneurs or investors. They find ways to scale value beyond themselves. Instead of working for money, they let money work for them. Let's take a moment to compare the mindset. Scarcity versus abundance. Spending versus investing. Job security versus financial freedom. Being a consumer versus being a creator. Avoiding failure versus learning from it. Scarcity thinking says there's never enough. Abundance thinking says there's more where that came from. A scarcity mindset makes you cling to money. It makes you fear risk, avoid opportunity, and stay small. But abundance allows for growth. It's not just positive thinking. It's strategic optimism. This doesn't mean the rich never fail. In fact, they fail a lot. But they reframe failure. For them, failure isn't a signal to quit. It's data, a lesson, a feedback loop. Most wealthy people have failed multiple times before finding success. The difference is, they don't tie failure to their identity. Now let's go a little deeper, into the subconscious. Many people grow up with limiting beliefs about money. Maybe you heard, money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy. These messages shape your relationship with money. Rich people often grow up around different messages, ones that normalize wealth. They're taught that money is a game to master, not a monster to fear. That difference in programming runs deep. But here's the good news. Your programming can be changed. Your mindset is like software. You can rewrite it through reading, mentorship, exposure, and consistent action. So how do you start thinking like the wealthy? Step 1. Get curious, not judgmental. When you see someone successful, ask, what are they doing that I can learn from? Don't assume they got lucky. Study their habits. Reverse engineer their moves. Step 2. Upgrade your money beliefs. Read books like The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel or Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Fill your mind with perspectives that challenge your old narratives. Step 3. Shift from consumer to creator. Ask yourself, how can I create value? Can I solve a problem, offer a skill, build something scalable? That's how wealth begins. Step 4. Automate good habits. Set up automatic savings. Automate investments. Reduce decision fatigue so your good choices happen without willpower. Step 5. Surround yourself with people who think bigger. Your environment matters. If you're always around people who complain about money, you'll absorb that mindset. Find people who inspire you. Podcasts, online communities, mentors. Here's a mindset hack that rich people use all the time. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" ask, "How can I afford this?" One closes the door. The other opens it. It forces creativity. Let's talk about time. Wealthy people value time more than money. That's why they delegate, outsource, and automate. Because time is the one thing you can't get back. Poor thinking says, "I'll do it myself to save money." Rich thinking says, "I'll pay someone so I can focus on higher leverage opportunities." Also, wealthy people think in terms of net worth, not just income. You could make $200,000 a year and still be broke if you spend it all. Someone making $60,000 who saves and invests wisely might actually build more long-term wealth. Let's break it down. Net worth equals assets, liabilities. Rich people focus on buying assets, things that generate income or increase in value. Real estate, stocks, businesses. The poor and middle class often accumulate liabilities that feel like assets: cars, gadgets, fancy clothes. Another difference? Rich people aren't afraid to talk about money. They're transparent, they ask questions, they negotiate. Silence around money keeps people ignorant. Conversation creates clarity. There's also a difference in emotional intelligence. Wealthy individuals tend to regulate emotions better when it comes to financial decisions. They don't panic sell when the market drops. They don't impulse buy when they're sad. They think logically, because they've trained themselves to. One of the most powerful traits rich people share is ownership. Not just of assets, but of their lives. They don't blame the economy, their boss, or their parents. They take responsibility, and that gives them power. You might be thinking, "But I didn't grow up with money. I didn't get those advantages." And that's valid. But mindset doesn't cost a cent to change. It starts with awareness, and it grows with consistent practice. Let me leave you with this. Money is a mirror. It reflects your habits, beliefs, and behaviors. If you want to change the reflection, you have to change the source. The way rich people think isn't about being born lucky. It's about thinking intentionally. Long-term over short-term, value over effort, abundance over fear, and most importantly, ownership over excuses. So if you want to change your financial life, start with your mind, because that's where true wealth begins. If this video helped shift your perspective, hit that like button, subscribe to Kysersis, and let us know in the comments. What money belief are you ready to let go of? Until next time, think big, act bold, and stay limitless.